Right, welcome back to episode 2. I'm joined by Niall from Airporter Ltd as my second guest. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Good. So just thought we'd have a quick chat just to have an insight into Airporter Ltd. And my first question to you is really how you started. And for those who don't know what you do, what do you specialise in?
Okay. Very short question, could be a bit lengthy, but I'll do my best. Okay, yeah. Airporter, we are 25 years old this year, which is remarkable in many respects, considering especially what we're going through now. But in terms of the type of operation that we have and the fields in which we operate here in Northern Ireland in terms of public transport. The idea of the company was my father-in-law, who basically lived in Canada, came back to Northern Ireland frequently to visit home and found it difficult to get a direct transfer from the international airport back to his hometown in Coleraine. So that was the genesis of it. It was an idea of providing direct connections from airport to your end destination rather than going through a central hub as in Belfast. I met Jennifer, his daughter, who was helped Brian set up the company back in 1999. And the two of us then took the company on more or less full on in 2003. My background had been previously with a degree in travel and tourism and transport management, post-grad in business, and very much tech influences that I would have had as an interest and sort of an educational passion as well. So there was a lot of synergies of the two of us working together, Jen and I, and continually to do so. And certainly having taken the company on more or less in 2003, we really were able to mold it and shape it in a way that sort of fashioned and respected our skill set, and more importantly, reflected the needs and wants of the customers.
And how do you find it working together?
Do you know what? It's remarkably easy. The two of us have got really distinct separate skill sets, and really we work in two different areas of the business. I'm more operations and garage and vehicles and the legislation and compliance. And Jennifer is very much front of house, general management, looking after staff, customers. So there's two distinct houses in which we operate from. Yeah. It's actually, it's real. It works incredibly well in terms of being able to work as a team, as a couple, and certainly be able to sort of share where there are challenges and somebody automatically understands, and likewise the synergies that we bring together as a skill set too as well is quite unique, and we're very conscious of that.
Absolutely, and I think it's a great way of having a different perspective from someone as well. Is there anything now where you look back and go, I wish I was told something, because you've learned so much over the years? Is there any advice that you would have given your younger self now?
Good question. I think certainly patience is the big thing in business. I think in terms of you have so much enthusiasm and eagerness, and you really want to go and show and make big differences very quickly for numerous reasons. But in terms of the type of business that we operate in, especially in transport, and especially in reflecting the sort of technological changes, the consumer behavior changes, etc. It's a bit like the analogy of an oil tanker, where if an oil tanker wants to change direction, they plot the course like 20 miles ahead of it, So it's been able to appreciate that when you've made a decision, that there is a natural congruent in time that will take you there to the end conclusion. So I think certainly at the start, the patience is certainly something that I would recommend. And likewise, not all decisions work. And that's the other thing that experience shows you over the years. But what experience does tell you is to make sure you remember the things that don't work.
Exactly. And I think that everyone kind of wants a straight answer right there and then. And in real terms or real life, it does take time, and you work from there really. And talking, say, pre-COVID, when was, say, your busiest time of the year for Airporter Ltd?
Well, our business is very much it's an aviation business, for want of a better sector to use. Certainly, we provide public transport, but we are connected to the movements and passenger trails at the airports. So, if we looked at our busiest year, I mean, I suppose if I was to go back 25 years ago, our first year we carried just over 5,000 passengers. In 2019 and 2020, we carried 155,000 passengers. So that's an increase of 150,000 passengers over the journey. Our busiest time is certainly the summer, and that's reflecting on the busiest airline movements. So I believe in planet Earth in 2019, July 2019, I think it was the 22nd, it was the busiest day in the world for aircraft taking off and landing. So if I was to sort of condense that into a regional perspective, I know for a fact that our busiest time would have been in July of 2019.
Yeah, that's a massive achievement as well, right from the beginning when you started up until, say, 2019 now. And like you say, transport doesn't ever stop. You always have dips now, and it's constant, which is great. At the same time, you must think, crikey, I need to, have a sit down, cup of tea, and start again.
Those are luxuries you don't get, But in saying that, it's not a reflection of a luxury or not. It's a way of life. I mean, certainly when you embark on a self-employed or taking up and starting your own business, there's a change of mindset that goes along with that. You never compare yourself to somebody else in terms of what they do. All you do is your mind and focus is on the business, so that becomes part of your life itself. And
I know that we've been working with each other, or EVM as well, as like a whole for a couple of years now, at least. I think, what is it? I want to say maybe towards 10. I could be completely wrong here. 10-ish years?
Well, we've been with you more or less since the start. So we've been working with Danny and his team for a long time, and certainly been really, there's one aspect I would always bring and share in these type of situations, especially when it comes to in buses and coaches, the relationship of the supply side of your vehicles is actually key to the operation. So we've never seen a bus as a purchase or an acquisition. It's more of a business relationship all the way through. So it's basically how we have found Danny and the EVM team understand and our exact needs for the business that model we put together. And likewise, we're able to sort of feed back into the supply side and bring amendments and changes where it's required. But it's all about the relationship and not about the acquisition or the purchase.
Absolutely. Would you say that's your best feature on the EVM product that you kind of purchase, or is there one in particular you'd say hands down that you love that part of the product and that's what makes the transport easier for you?
Well, there's multiple elements of the EVM product, and that goes from the areas that you'll not see on a customer floor court. I mean, the team who are based in Kilbegan, the craftsmanship, the skill set that go into manufacturing, the actual product itself, we benefit from that expertise and skills. Certainly in terms of the product, we've never had an issue that has created a major setback in the daily operations. We challenge the actual, our vehicles. Operationally, we run our vehicles about 120,000 kilometers a year, each vehicle. And the vehicles are as new, certainly in terms of its operational behavior, in terms of its aesthetics, its look, its feel, so that can only be put down to the amount of craftsmanship and skills that go into producing the end product.
Are you working on anything exciting coming up or in the future?
Well, certainly at the minute, we're basically looking at restructuring, and we've made a lot of restructures to our own business over the last 12 months as a result of the impacts. Yeah. So we're very excited about getting back up and running. First of all, there's great partnerships that I've got going with the reservation team who provide our booking system. They're called Zowie, and we've got some fantastic plans with them for the future. And literally more connectivity with the tourism sector is key. So I think that the focus will be certainly on domestic tourism, inter-island tourism between England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and working with the airports too as well to try and stimulate and agitate the market again, because I mean, we're going back into ground zero. There is literally, you've got a lack of motivation, a lack of confidence in transport and travel. So, and if you think about it, the first thing, I mean, public transport and buses in particular were literally thrown under the COVID bus at the start. You were told not to travel. So there's a massive job at hand, and it's anybody in public transport to start encouraging people to get on board, get back on board public transport. You know, we've made, anybody who is still here in public transport has made considerable investments, and likewise with EVM. I mean, we made considerable investments in terms of the filtration system that we've put on board with the air conditioning scheme, and then we've looked at barriers for the drivers and the hand sanitization. Our own booking system allows you to confirm and guarantee which service you're going to be on. So there's a new mindset in travel coming through, and I think certainly in the technology side, we've got the right team to help us take us forward in that, and the right sort of supply side in terms of EVM, we've got the right product that allows us to deliver that. So the key now is to get motivation, to i.e. in terms of reasons to travel, and then confidence, i.e. for us to demonstrate to the passenger that they're going to be safe on board as we all move forward.
Yeah, I think it'll be a transition of kind of getting people going again, and as well as that to kind of be in confidence for your customers so that they're confident in you to travel again. It's surreal that the whole travel and tourism industry has changed. So to get back to where we were, I don't think we'll ever get back to that, if I'm honest. No. But it'll be a new, different way of it.
Do you know, it's quite interesting. There's nothing to be found by looking back, because the world has changed.
With businesses and with your one especially, how do you kind of unwind from work and make that distinct kind of separation from work and your personal life?
To be honest, it is difficult. I mean, because like it's all encompassing. It's part of your DNA. It's part of your family ecology. You know, it's you know, we're a business that's 24/7. So you're literally I'm a driver myself as well. So you may get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning for any particular reason if a driver's sick or can't make it. And like the last call of defense sort of thing. So there's that element is always a part of it. But as I said to you before, it's more of a mindset and more of a way of life. But in saying that, in terms of relaxation, and that's like family life is really important, you know. So we have got two amazing kids, Cormac and Trinity, and we have a lot of really shared fun interests, and we spend as much time as we can together. Music and movies, stuff like that. You know, we're not much of going out people in terms of as adults, but in terms of, you know, our own sort of family ways and stuff like that. There, we do as much as we can as that.
Is there any kind of role models that you are inspired by? Is there anyone in particular that kind of has helped you on the way?
Well, I've been very fortunate. I'm the youngest of 9 children. And I've got a large family of 3 sisters and 5 brothers, and equally I would have sort of, they've equally helped me in some shape or form growing up and helped molded myself as moving in life. But I think the biggest influence would have been my father, who passed away sadly last year. He had his own business, and it was a paper shop, and we all had to serve our time there. So I was serving customers from the age of 13, and it was a wonderful experience. And the man himself had an amazing perspective and certainly longevity, both in life and in business. And I was very fortunate that the last sort of, you know, 5 or 10 years of his life, he was able to sort of really see our business sort of mature and kick in. He showed great interest in that. And also I got a lot of respect and got a lot of knowledge and experience from him.
Sounds like a brilliant man.
He was.
Do you have a favorite quote that you kind of not look up to, but it's always in the back of your mind every now and then?
Well, There's probably two. One's from a musical background, and it's just from like a soul song, just keep on keeping on. It would be a focus on that you just gotta just keep going through it, you know. And I heard a quote last year, which I thought was very relevant in today's circumstances, is we haven't come this far just to get this far.
Love that. That's a brilliant quote. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Niall. You've been amazing, brilliant answers. I've loved just having a chat and to have an insight into Airporter.
Fantastic. And hopefully the next time we can bring you over and then we can get the cameras and show you our wonderful setup here. How's
Definitely.
that?
Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID, we would be doing that right now.
Fingers crossed, we're near the end.